acknowledging those feelings of fear, you know, because you've got to try to reduce your anxiety or your stress or whatever it is that you're coping with in that moment. Hello, welcome to Conversations with Neuvias. My name is Carol. Today we have the lovely Marge
Hello.
and the lovely Lynn.
Hi.
Our podcast today is talking about the energies of fear.
Mm-hmm.
So, the energies of fear. Usually means, yeah, it's like that's a good topic. We're trying to keep in the topic because of Halloween. So
Yeah.
basically, yeah, the energy of fear just it's apprehension of or that we dread. Sometimes it's an emotional and physical aspect that kind of hinders your body and your journey and all that so forth. So, it's funny. Some people are afraid of just simple little things that we take for granted, and it's fearful for them. So I just wanted to throw that out there because all of us have some type of fear, but some of us, people have fear of popcorn or fear of peanut butter or something like that. Fear of
Right.
a dog. So it just really depends, but um, it's just the energy of fear just it triggers a lot of fight or flight responses and stuff.
Yep. Oh, and now she froze. No, she
Yeah.
froze. You froze for just a second, but you're good now. You're back.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll just leave it in. It
Yeah.
was just for a
So
second. Yeah, that
okay.
fear really can stop you from moving forward and make you just kind of stick where you're
Mhm.
at. It can also end up in a spiral, right, where the fear gets bigger and bigger and bigger to become a phobia or just to make you just so terrified that you don't know which way to go.
No, absolutely. There's a lot of mental effects too with that, Marge. It can cause your judgment. It can like make you have so many different thoughts. It hinders your decision making, and so those are
Hmm.
just kind of some aspects that will limit what you're thinking clearly.
Right, right. You get stuck in a loop too. You can get stuck and just think that fear over and over and over. It becomes part of you as opposed to something you process through and recognize that fear is of something most of us it's kind of like worrying, right?
Yes.
So you worry about stuff, most of it have never ever happens. Most fears never actually come to fruition. They're just there and stop you from living in the moment. If you're living in the moment, you can't have fears. They don't exist.
No. No, not at all. Um, what about you, Lynn? Do you want to add anything to the energies of fear, or can you think of
Yeah,
anything?
fear can really stop us from moving forward if we let it take control. Like it's like this invisible wall that keeps us from our comfort zone. But what I've learned is um the moment we start to understand our fear, where it comes from and what's what it's trying to tell us, that wall starts to break down. So fear isn't really there to stop us. It's there to show us what matters, what we deeply care about. Once we
Hmm.
realize that, it becomes less of a barrier and more of a guide.
Good
Yes.
point. Yeah. So how do you go
Yeah.
about analyzing those fears? Shall we talk about that?
Analyze. Yeah, that would be fine. I know for me, just analyzing, if we're analyzing it, there's so many different ways. It can have a mental effect on you. It can influence you on your behavior, the way you are. You might even be so self-absorbed and feel like you're alone when in actuality you're not, but because you might fear just minimal little things that you would think wouldn't be so drastic,
Right.
and so you think it's risky or it's threatening or something like that. So I think analyzing it though, it's kind of hard. Sometimes I would think people would think it would be a mental disability or something, or something mental going on if we're trying to analyze it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could be.
But yeah, that's what I would probably perceive it as.
Yeah, trying to put some reality into your fears for me really makes a big difference because if for instance, when I was younger, I was afraid of big dogs because of an incident I had when I was younger.
Yeah.
And so my body learned and reinforced itself with this fear. So once you have a fear of something and you experience it again, the fear is what you're remembering, not the interaction that you're having at the moment. So I only had a bad experience with one dog, one, but I was afraid of all of them because it was such a big impact for me.
All right.
And that was for years, I was afraid of big dogs until I finally started having good experiences with big dogs. Same with bees, believe it or not, when I was younger, with the name Big B now, but when I was younger, I was
Oh,
afraid of bees. And because they're too fast, they fly too fast. And it scared me. And I was always afraid of getting stung. What took care of that fear was getting stung. It's like, oh, that hurt, but it didn't kill me. It's not that bad. It only hurt for 20 minutes. Done. So the fear got dealt with because of that. And I was able to readjust the experience of that fear.
That makes sense. What
yeah,
about
I
you,
agree with
Lynn?
that. Yeah, for me, I think analyzing fear starts with awareness, as what Marge is
Mhm.
explaining. Like instead of pushing it away, we pause and ask ourselves, what exactly am I afraid of? And like um, where is this fear coming from? Sometimes it's rooted in past experiences, actually, and or in stories we keep telling ourselves. So when we start naming it and understanding the emotion behind it, um, it loses the overwhelming power.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I have,
Um,
how about you, Carol?
my fear, I would probably say, was at one time spiders. You know, that was my biggest fear. I hated spiders, and I love all kinds of animals, left to right and sideways. And I think a spider started crawling up on me as a daddy long legs. I don't know if you know what kind of, anyways, it's crawling on me, didn't do anything. And so that kind of just left my fear like, okay, I actually look at this spider like, okay, it's not going to harm me. Of course, there's other different poisonous spiders out there, but that spider in particular, just I felt more at ease. I was really scared at first, but I felt more at ease with spiders, and so that's kind of been my fear is spiders. I'm sure people have, was that arachnophobia or some,
Yeah.
no, or some kind of fear, but yeah. So I've learned to accept them and just live with that fear. Not live with the fear because I don't fear them anymore. So yeah.
You reassign the emotion
Hmm.
related to that thing, right?
Yes, yes, for sure. I was gonna say too, Marge, since we are doing this podcast today, we wanted to, because of Halloween is so close. You know, Halloween's around the corner, and when you think of Halloween too, it you think of the energy of fear there as well. You know, because of the practices, the costumes and masks, and so I think this was a good topic to talk about too, because of people get scared during Halloween. I don't know why. It's just a scary season, is, and so that's a good way to incorporate fear into people with Halloween, if that
Right.
makes sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And people get afraid of monsters and chainsaw guys and and all the scary movies that we've seen. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
funny, if you've ever watched any of those movies with the sound off, they're not scary at all. It's the sound that it makes all the fear on those movies. To
That
me,
makes
anyway.
sense. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense because the songs are can be very eerie or, like something's about to happen because the way,
Yeah,
the drum
builds up.
roll. Yeah, it
Yeah.
builds you up.
And they're all in minor keys, so it's like, oh, it's creepy.
Yes. But even so, too, like the haunted attractions, haunted houses is another one that people go through these tours and they get really scared because they don't know, I don't know if anybody's ever been in a haunted house, but it's so dark in there. So when you're going through the maze or whatever it is they have, you can't see sometimes in front of you, and then somebody jumps out at you, and you're like, oh my god!
Yeah,
It's that, yeah, and you're out of your also your safe environment. Excuse me,
right.
your safe environment. So
Yeah.
that instills fear and reward. Lindy, y'all have haunted houses and stuff like that out there?
Yes, we actually have that. Like, Halloween here is a time we actually like celebrate fear because we dress up as, ghosts or monsters, all the things that normally scare us. But maybe it's the beauty of it. It reminds us that when we face fear playfully, it loses its power.
That's true. That's
That's
true.
so. They also say too about fear as being a symbol of death. People fear death or something like that too. So when you think about that, like we were still talking about, you think about skeletons or ghosts or hauntings or tombstones, and so that's just another um, way to people, I guess, symbolize fear. And so,
It's interesting, isn't it?
oh my God, yeah, the way how things just interluded all together to be this is Halloween or
Yeah.
Christmas. So, but yeah, it's just even during this time too, a lot of people, probably sit by a fire or something and start telling ghost stories or scary stories and
Right.
trying to frighten you and stuff. And I think we talked about this last week in our podcast as well.
Yeah, a little bit.
A
Yep.
little. So it's just the cultural rituals and the traditions and stuff that we kind of go through that provide. It's entertainment, but sometimes we look at it like, oh, well, some people like to be scared or live in that fear.
Yeah,
So
that's true. That kind of fear, as opposed to real life fear, is fears and are thrillers. It's like thriller movies
yes,
and thrill rides, roller coasters. Not for me. But other people love them because they like that adrenaline rush. They get excited and they enjoy it so much with that. And it's still a fear, but it's also an excitement.
oh yeah, for sure. Can you think of any other types of fear that maybe people might have? I know, like I was talking about earlier, like just little things people are scared of, but um, and other people will take that for granted, thinking that that's not really scary at all.
Right.
So
Yeah, well, that's funny because fear is very personal, right?
yes,
So what is fear inducing for one person might make the other person just kind of roll their eyes at them like, oh, for pity's sakes. So, some kids are afraid of bugs, some kids like to play with bugs. And it's just fear is a weird thing. And a lot of people right now are afraid of what's happening with our society or what's happening financially or what's happening, health wise and stuff like that. And that's because that's pounded into your head. Be afraid, be afraid, be afraid, be afraid, be afraid.
oh yeah, that's the social media and all that other the news not telling you the truth, and so
Yeah.
yeah, so a lot of people stay fearful. Like the biggest one is there recently had was the end the not the end but the revelations was coming, and
Oh
I,
yeah, what did they call that? Rapture.
the rapture, yeah, the rapture was coming, and I went to work and the kids are like, did you know it's a rapture today or something, and I was like, what? Yeah, and so it was crazy, and I was just taken beside me. Okay, well, nothing happened. Life still goes on.
Yeah.
Or what they were expecting to happen. But it's just stuff, I agree with you. It's just stuff like that that puts fear into people, not knowing what's going to happen or what's going to go on. And
Right.
it's
We
so,
want to know ahead of
yeah.
time that it's going to be okay. But I can
Mhm.
guarantee you it's going to be okay one way or the other. In the long run, it's okay.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, just us having our engaging in those experience and is just how you take it, I guess you could say. But the sad thing about it, though, if you continue to live in that fear, your body's gonna start grasping onto that, and
Yeah.
you're gonna have a very, very hard time trying to get out of that energy and emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So to speak. So,
Yeah, it
yeah.
becomes part of you. It impacts your health too,
Oh my
and your
God.
relationships,
Hmm.
depending on how big the fear is.
Yes. I was gonna say too, I don't know if y'all have ever heard, like sometimes like people are fearful because of something that has happened to them in a past life, and
Mm-hmm.
it's brought into this lifetime when they came in, and so
Yeah. I
you
think
know.
my daughter has one of those.
Oh yeah, I remember you were telling
Yeah,
me.
she's afraid of orcas. We've never been in the ocean. Well, I don't think she's been in the ocean once, but in New Jersey, it's not where orcas are, right? But if she's seeing a video of an orca from the side, it's not so bad. But if it comes at the screen, she is literally freaked out. Why?
That's scary. Yeah,
Never seen them, never, I don't know. But it's definitely a thing that bothers her a lot.
yeah. That must be like a set of past traumatic experience that
Yeah.
maybe was encountered, and it's came into this lifetime. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
So,
so.
right. So, how do y'all think people cope with the energy of fear? Is there any type of um, way that people can cope with the energy of fear?
That's a good question. And it's going to be different for everybody. I think one of the ways that I deal with it is I look up what to get realistic. If something's really scaring me, I try and think of the worst case scenario. And is it that bad? No, probably not.
Yeah,
But if I don't put the worst case scenario in my view, then I don't know what it could do. And so that
that
helps me
makes
kind
sense.
of make it go, okay, so it's not so scary. What's the
Hmm.
worst thing that could happen?
That's true. What about you, Lynn? How do you process or cope with fear? Or could you give some advice in coping with the fear?
So whenever fear shows up, uh, don't see it as a sign of weakness. See it as a proof that you're growing. It's okay to feel scared. It just means that you're alive and evolving. So just be gentle with yourself, you know, and remember that even fear carries light when you face it with love.
Yeah, that's
Very
true.
true.
Yeah, I would say the biggest one is just first of all acknowledging those feelings of fear, because you've got to try to reduce your anxiety or your stress or whatever it is that you're coping with in that moment. Breathing techniques help, when some people get so scared and people like will tell you immediately, like, okay, just calm down, breathe, just
Right.
calm, stay, breathe, just calm, and so that kind of helps relax. And I think, Marge, don't you have a breathing technique that you do?
A lot of different ones. Yeah. If it's a panic, is when I do the
Mhm.
sighing. When I'm really amped up and oh no, something horrible just happened, or there's a situation that I'm panicking about. I do the sighing breath where you take the deep breath all the way down from your belly and then sigh it out. I know I've shown you guys this 100 times, but I'll show the whole audience this time. So you go, "Wah," and sigh as long as you possibly can and make it long, long, long. And if you do that a few times, take another deep breath. Ah. It usually takes 4 or 5 of those kinds of sighs to kind of readjust your your energy in your body related to the panic. If it's just fear, it's more like um a box breathing. Just focus on the breath or go meditative breathing, where you're just focused on breathing in for a count of 6, hold it for 3, and breathe out for a count of 8. And the slower you can do it, the more you're going to center yourself and get um, your heart in alignment with your brain, and everything can start to calm down. The cortisol that you get from being worried or being scared is really not good for your system. And so trying to avoid that kind of a cortisol spike, adrenaline spike, and a cortisol spike is going to help you way down the road, much more than the panic and the fear will right in that moment.
No, that is true. Even mindfulness, keeping your mind out of that fear base, in that with whatever present moment that you're having to deal with it, just reducing your anxiety and your stress. Meditation is a really good one too, to release some of that fear as well.
Yeah, it makes a
Yeah.
big difference.
hmm Even exercising. Oh my God, I keep forgetting exercising. It'll release your endorphins, and so you start feeling so much better and start improving that and letting go of that fear as well.
Yep, yep. It's the same with the exercise. It's like grounding too. Don't forget the grounding. All the
Um,
methods that we talk about every week in these podcasts help for all these things. It's kind of like eating right and behaving properly to keep the healthiest body and the
yeah.
happiest mind you can. They all work together all the time. But when
Mhm.
you're in a panic situation or a fear situation, to make sure that you get outside and you exercise a little bit. The exercise uses up the adrenaline instead of having it convert into cortisol in your body.
Yeah.
So medically, it's getting used instead of just sitting there and like a festering pot of hormones that just make a mess of your systems.
No, that is true. That's true. Even just having those negative thoughts too, and trying to refrain from them, and keep that out of your mind. Even keeping, like you said, have always said, keep a journal is another way that you can alleviate that. And of course, just talking about it. There's so many groups out there now that will try to help with fear if you can't seem to find your way out of that.
Even if you're just talking to yourself,
Oh yeah.
it helps. You talk it through. And if you do it verbally, then you can kind of go, that really sounds stupid. Why am I so upset about this? Or why am I so nervous about this? It really doesn't make any sense if you really start talking it through and putting some thought behind it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's that 7 whys. Why? Why do I feel this way? And then why? You just keep asking yourself why. And by the time you get to the seventh one, it's going to be like, oh, yeah, this doesn't make any sense to me.
Wow.
Or
Yeah,
it's not logical to have the fear.
no, that's it. These are actually all really good, some good ideas. What about you, Lynn? Can you think of any techniques or anything that will help instill or de less be less of the stress? I mean, the fear. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree with what Marge said, like to acknowledge or to accept that fear, that you have that fear, like, and ask yourself, why are you, afraid of that? Why am I afraid of this? And then process it so you know how to handle it next time.
Mhm.
But just, um, breathe and like just breathe it, like that's something I always do whenever I face fear. um what I have in mind right now is not actually the horror ones, those um spooky things in Halloween, but the earthquake that we are experiencing in the
Yeah.
Philippines. It's been like how many weeks? So that's what I have in mind right now. So I just keep on um, keep myself um, be calm because I have kids. So before, I don't usually be afraid of those earthquakes because it's normal here, but it's not every day. But when we experienced that this past um, few weeks, it's not the normal
Right.
thing that happened here. So whenever we, and whenever our area here is shaking again, so I just keep on praying, keep myself calm because I have kids. So because if I panic, the kids will also panic. So I need to be strong and firm and calm, and then just breathe and pray.
Yeah.
That's what I always do.
And you probably have a plan too. If it's, if it's just a little earthquake, you do one thing. If it's a severe earthquake, maybe you want to I don't know what your house is like, but maybe you want to get out of the house and have a plan for all the kids. We're going to meet here if we're not all in the same place. So it's like some people have a fear of fire in their homes. And so you make a plan of how you're going to handle, who's going to get the animals, who's going to get the kids, where are we going to meet together to make sure everybody's safe. Having a plan for handling a fearful situation will help too.
Yes, yes, yes. My kids even know the triangle of life. So whenever there's a strong earthquake, I instructed them to be beside like the sofa
Hmm.
because you know it will like it it will, if some things will be like some, like a ceiling um will be broken, it will just be like that and protect you.
Yeah.
So yeah, they know how to actually do it and know what's the triangle of life.
Good, good. Here we have the tornado situation, right? And if you don't have a basement, or you're like when I was in apartments and stuff, um, we would go get in the bathtub. If you had a metal bathtub, it would protect you because the things fly in the tornadoes. So it's the same kind of idea as making sure that you have a plan in place to kind of alleviate some of that fear of the certain situations.
Yeah.
That's true. I was gonna add to that too, because the best thing I know, if I'm in or I sense a fear coming come on with me, the first thing I do is I pray. Like, okay, I pray strongly. You could also do positive mantras if you have to, depending on how what the situation is here to
Hmm.
lift and start making yourself feel more empowered, so the fear goes away. And so I can tell you, yeah, if you feel like, oh my gosh, nothing, it's too scary, whatever the case may be, prayer is a huge, huge one for anybody, I would think. And of course, just saying a positive mantra could also help lift you. And so it also helps change your mindset, so you're not in that fear mode or that
Right.
fear-based mode. And now you're educating your mind to be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to empower myself, because that's the opposite of fear, empowering yourself to not live in fear.
Right. Reprogram that mind and the energy, because if you think about it, where do you feel fear? Depending on what kind of fear it is, you might feel it different places in your body. Sometimes you feel it in your chest, sometimes in your back. If you're me, it's always in your back. But depending on the person, you get tension in your shoulders or something if it's a fearful thing. And recognizing that can sometimes, if you've identified that, can sometimes help you recognize the fear before the fear actually takes place. You start feeling you're meeting somebody. Let's say you're on a walk in a city and you're feeling uncomfortable, and you notice you're feeling uncomfortable, but you're not sure why yet. And so you have to stop and think, what's making me feel this way? And really look
And
at it and say, is there somebody following me? Or is there something going on? Is somebody going to fall off a building? Who knows?
and it could also
Recognizing
be
physical pieces. Go ahead,
yeah,
Carolyn.
I would
Sorry.
say too, Marge, it could also be like a past life regression, that you've already been there
Right.
and something horrible may have happened to you. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we get in that present like, oh my gosh, why does this feel like I've been here before, like deja
Right.
vu, and so
Yeah.
something could have drastically happened to you, and so you have that fear in you all of a sudden.
True. That's true.
Yes. So that would be another one. I was gonna say too, another one that people who live in fear will also be the victim, like majority of the time, if they're in that fear-based mode. You know, everything's out to get them, or nothing's going right, or whatever the case may be. And so you have to change your mindset, because once you start thinking that way, and that's the energy that you're forming, that's exactly what's going to come towards you all the time.
Yep. The universe is a magnet.
Yes.
What do you think of
Our words are
that?
very powerful, so
They are.
yeah, cannot stress that enough. So just kind of remember that when you are fearing something, you either going to stand in your power and face it head on, or you're just going to let it control you or consume you, and you
Mm,
really don't want that to happen.
right. Right.
Yes. So, what were you going to say, Lynn? I'm sorry.
No, I just said that what you think you attract and you become.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, we
Hey,
can't
you
think.
don't want fear to become part of your personality, just part of you.
Yeah.
No, you don't, because then you start closing off to people, family, friends. You start isolating yourself, and that is the worst thing. We're humans are need that extra, TLC, and so you could do it alone, but you also still need others around you to bounce off of the energies. So
Yep. That's
yeah,
true.
yeah. So
We're more like herd animals.
yes, flock of seagulls over here.
There you go.
But I don't have anything else to add to our podcast. Do y'all have anything else that y'all can think of, or I may have missed?
No, I don't think so. How about you, Lynn?
Yeah, I don't have as well, but I just want to say that it's okay to feel afraid. It's just means that you're human. So
Hmm.
breathe, trust, pray, and let fear be a gentle reminder that you're growing, you're evolving.
Hmm.
Very good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's an emotion, so control that emotion.
Yeah.
Well, my name is Carol. You can visit us at www.neuvias.com. And as always,
I'm Marge, and please don't forget to like and subscribe this video.
yes, thank y'all for joining us wherever side of the world you are. And remember, we'll see you next Thursday on our other lovely podcast. So come visit us there.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lots of love and light.
Love y'all.
Take care.
Bye bye.